I've got the world on a string.
Here's a man with the world on a string, our friend, sports personality and commentator, Evan Weiner. And we talk about a lot of things with Evan, and Evan gives you the way it is, like Howard Cosell used to do, which I like so much. Evan, how are you?
Good. I don't know if it's the way it is. It's the way I see it. As I once told Howard many years ago, I said, Howard, you tell it like you see it.
Oh, man, we miss Howard. I've been reading your pieces with interest on the concussions in the NFL. Please, tell us about it.
Well, somebody from the NFL either read off the wrong script or was being rather honest yesterday before a congressional panel. Jeff Miller, who's the senior vice president of health and safety, didn't exactly say that there is a link between football and brain injuries, brain damage, but he said, yes, there is a link. And that's the first time somebody from the NFL said something. And it's quite remarkable when you think of it, because the Super Bowl was, what, about 5 weeks ago?
I would say.
I wonder how many people who watched the Super Bowl even remember who played in the Super Bowl.
It's true.
I think the shelf life of that's gone. But 5 weeks ago, Roger Goodell said if he had sons, which he doesn't, he would allow them to play football. And now you have somebody in the NFL office in a very senior position saying, hey, you know what? There may be a link, or there is a link, between playing football and concussions, CTE, and what they really should be calling it, brain injuries and brain damage.
This has been going on for years and years and years and years. It was always kind of quietly swept under the rug. There was the labor deal, and there was whispers about it, and the settlement with the retired players. Why now?
Well, you could say, why not 1905? Because Teddy Roosevelt called the presidents of Princeton, Yale, and Harvard into the Oval Office and said, hey, clean up this game. There were 40 deaths that we know of that were attributed to football in 1904 and 1905 on college fields, and we don't know how many really in the coal mines or outside the coal mines where they played. So, football and safety is not a new issue. I mean, this is going back now 111 years. And Teddy Roosevelt told them to clean up the game, and they did. When the flying wedge was the flying wedge, he used to pick up people and throw them. And some players were maimed. In fact, Roosevelt's son was maimed playing a football game in Harvard, and some people were killed. And they changed the rules. First down became first and 10 instead of first and 5, and then you could throw the ball forward, which you couldn't do in 1904 and 1905 in the colleges. Now, there were smatterings of pros around that time. The Arizona Cardinals existed as the Chicago Cardinals, or Racine Cardinals back then. So this is nothing new, but it's escalated in the last 10 years. There was some really good reporting done by Alan Schwartz, and I got lucky in talking to people like Brett Boyd and George Fisker, Dave Pear, among others, who told me their problems, and some other people who wouldn't go on record, and you have to respect them. One of them was on a Super Bowl team who called me up one day and said, I need to talk to you, and did talk to me, and then he said, hey, you know what, don't put my name on it. And I haven't done that since he spoke to me. But it's going to be interesting. Now, you got to look at the entire football industry. Now, the entire football industry is not the NFL. It goes down to Pop Warner. It goes down to middle school / junior high school. It moves up the ladder to high school and then to college. Now, you have to look at the schools, the middle school, junior high school, and high schools. Now that the NFL has admitted that football may be a cause of brain injuries and ultimately CTE and in some cases suicide, what next for these schools? I mean, do you
It's you think of now my opinion. Football was the national pastime. Baseball used to be, and it's what becomes of that over time. It's mind-boggling because it just has so many avenues into our society, good, bad, and otherwise.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, the NFL is going to be fine, and even college football is going to be fine at this point. I don't see any problems with college football next year. Who knows? Down the road, 2-3 years down the road, if there is a drop, and there has been a drop in people participating or people allowing their children since 2010 to play football, what's going to happen? Forget the high school for a minute. If the funnel, and you start with Pop Warner, and what if there is no funnel, so to speak, that leads you into college? What happens?
You have no players.
Yep, no players. I mean, what happens?
You won't have a game.
Yeah, and Troy Aikman said that about 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And that's, it's a problem. And Jeff Miller admitting that at this point, it's a problem for the NFL.
How do you think the NFL spin machine will deal with this?
Well, it happened in March. It happened during college basketball tournament. We'll see. This could disappear because, look, Jim Nantz is not going to talk about it. And, Jim Nantz didn't want to talk about Peyton Manning either and the HGH thing.
Yeah.
So the NFL is all tied up with ESPN and with NBC and with CBS and with Fox and with Disney. And a lot of things that go on in the NFL fall between the cracks because they are the business partners. And the business partners' business could be harmed if that kind of publicity gets out there. I mean, obviously they get ahead of it. They were behind with Ray Rice. And, they did have Greg Hardy in the league, and Adrian Peterson, and of course, this is a league that features, Adrian Peterson and Michael Vick, and a whole bunch of others, a whole cast of characters. Aaron Fernandez in the league, and I've heard about this thing called the Patriot Way for years and years and years. But if you look at the Patriots, I mean, really look at the Patriots. They, Dante Stallworth signed with them after he spent a year in jail, killing somebody driving under the influence.
You're right.
And they years ago took Christian Peter out of University of Nebraska and business craft, threw him off the team. And Corey Dillon was on that team. So there were a lot of things that have gone on in the Patriots, but winning is a great deodorant, as John Madden used to say. It covers everything.
Yeah, certainly does. Charity and winning and money do hide a multitude of sins.
Yeah. So people say, well, why are you down on sports? And I said, well, it's business. That's what it is. It's a business. That's exactly what it is. There's nothing else to it. It's in the NFL. It's a brutal business for the players. It's an unforgiving business for the players. And Tom Brady is okay. I mean, there's not going to be anything wrong with him, and I assume Peyton Manning is going to be okay. I'm talking about financially. Who knows what's going to happen physically? But you can be cut at any time, just fired. Jimmy Johnson did that. Bill Parcells did that. Belichick has done that. You can be fired at any time. You can be blackballed from the league and not even know why you're blackballed from the league. And then, of course, there's the physical ailments that accompany you playing years of not only the NFL, but college and high school.
We've talked to so many players, and they say retired players, and they're young men, and they've got serious issues, which is very, very sad.
Yeah, by the time they're 37,
exactly.
39, it comes out. So, that's just how it goes.
So sports is a business. Talking about another business, baseball. And, it's spring. We're thinking about the Yankees. And you had a really good piece, I thought, about the seating at Yankee Stadium and the fact that seats are getting devalued. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, basically, the Yankees don't want people off the streets to buy the expensive tickets that are available on StubHub or wherever, where you just print out the ticket and you can get a $300 ticket for like $1.97,
Yeah.
6:35 at night, and they don't want those people there. So they said they're not accepting paper tickets, and apparently yesterday or 2 days ago at the soccer game there were a lot of people outside the stadium who brought paper tickets that they wouldn't let in. I guess that was the test run for when the Yankees do play. And one of the things, now Randy Levine, no, it was Lon Trust, it wasn't Randy Levine. Randy Levine, who's the president, used to be Rudy Giuliani's deputy mayor.
Yes.
He has bounced back and forth between baseball and
Politics.
And he had been the chief negotiator for Major League Baseball, went to Giuliani, and then came back with the Yankees, partly to get that stadium built because he knew how to get around the labyrinth and the mazes in New York City, which is what he did. And so it was Trust who said, hey, look, some of these fans may not know how to act. And I'm thinking, are you going to send them to baseball fan etiquette school now? Is that what you're going to do? Is that what it's all about? But it's business. They don't want fans. They want customers. There's been downsizing in baseball in terms of, remember, Yankee Stadium used to seat 56,000.
Yes.
They're down to 50. Shea Stadium used to seat about 56.
Yes.
They're down to 44 now with the new place or the place that was built. So if you think of it, over 81 games, 6,000 tickets gone with the Yankees. It's 480,000 less tickets that they have to sell, and the Mets is nearly a million. And you figure, well, volume, you want that for volume, but you don't. You want to create scarcity. And when you do create a scarcity, it's like the New York Islanders. I mean, they're in Brooklyn now, and they're really tight. 14,000 good seats there, but it's the Fenway principle. Fenway Park's been like that forever. The less seats you have, the better off you have.
The bigger demand.
Seats become more of a premium, and that's what you are seeing now. And it's corporate. It's the corporate dollars. I did a TV show back in 1999 with Frank DeFord, one of the worst TV shows you'd ever want to watch. It was called History's Mysteries. It was produced by Susan Michaels, Al Michaels' sister, and it was hosted by Arthur Kent, the stud from the first Iraq War, who somehow drifted into doing what essentially was a voiceover wrapped around this TV show for the History Channel, or A&E. I forgot. I guess it was the History Channel we were on. It doesn't really matter. It was just an awful show. It was the history of the business of sports condensed in 88 minutes from the Greek and Roman times to 1999. And Frank DeFord was on the show. And Frank DeFord was talking about the new stadiums, and this is now 17 years ago.
Yes.
So he's talking about the new stadiums, and he said what the new stadiums did, and Frank was absolutely 100% correct, was worse than the cookie-cutter stadiums. He said they basically were practicing a form of segregation where the rich people would get the best seats, and the poorer people may not have been able to even afford to get into the stadium. Now, this is 17 years ago. So now, in 2016, it seems to me, anyway, that they just want customers. They want people with expense accounts that can take the expense of the ticket, at least half the expense of the ticket off as a tax write-off, and do business there. And you look at people who are going to games, and you say, do they know they're even at a game?
Yeah, you wonder. You really do. It's quite a sociological experiment.
Yeah, I mean, people on cell phones, real baseball fans, quote-unquote, real baseball fans, they were talking last year, remember the netting and the woman who got injured in Fenway Park?
Yes.
and extending the netting, and which I think is something that they should do. They did in Columbus after they did in the NHL after that 9-year-old girl was killed by a puck that went in the crowd. And I think the netting should be extended because first of all, people who are sitting there, I mean, you see major leaguers get knocked down by line drives. So, and they're in shape, and their agility is good. I mean, you got a 52-year-old guy sitting basically almost on the field, and a line drive comes to him. He's not going to be able to move that quickly. So it's amazing to me that more people don't get injured at the games. We had a couple last year. But real baseball fans say, oh, no, you should watch the game. Well, I was in Yogi Berra's museum many, many years ago before they did the renovation. And there used to be a picture in the back of Yogi facing the Detroit Tigers in Detroit at Tiger Stadium. And every face you could see in the crowd is either staring at the pitcher or Yogi hitting.
Intently watching the game.
There are no cell phones, right? There are no waiters. There are no people giving food out, no people waiting for food, nobody conducting business. They were sitting there watching a baseball game. And those were the days when, as Humphrey Bogart pointed out, where the millionaire could sit next to the bum off the street in a box seat and enjoy a hot dog.
Yeah. That was baseball.
Yeah, and now, and it's not only baseball, it's hockey. Like I said, with the Islanders, people didn't get the Islanders move. And I don't think the people in Brooklyn understood the Islanders move either. When Irene Pavlova, who was running the Nets back in 2010 and 11, she said that the Nets got rid of all of their New Jersey season ticket holders except for about 2%, and rebuilt the entire fan base from Brooklyn on out. With the Islanders, it was an established team, an up-and-coming team, and a team with a history, the 4 Stanley Cups, and also the rivalry that's built in with the Rangers. There is no Knicks-Nets rivalry, none whatsoever, no matter what they say. But I think that they were too nice to the Long Island people because it's a ruthless business, and Long Island couldn't support a Major League Hockey team anymore. The corps aren't there. I mean, Grumman's not there anymore. Insurance company's not there anymore. When they were buying tickets, it was a lot cheaper. And so the Islanders have moved closer to Wall Street, where the money is, and they've jacked up their tickets. So their revenues are a hell of a lot more than they ever were at Nassau Coliseum. And that's what it's all about. Revenues coming in, revenue streams, TV, and the corporates that are buying the tickets. Yeah. My friend Bob Block, who's about 90 years old now, and is traveling around the world right now, actually. Bob tried to buy the Chicago Bulls in 1973, and it's in my basketball book, the story, the Beach Baskets book. And Bob did buy, with a guy named Marvin Fishman, the Chicago Bulls. And Arthur Wirtz in the NHL owned Chicago Stadium. The Bulls were playing in Chicago Stadium. And Bob basically wanted to build a 5,000
It's really something. Now, going back to the paper ticket, when I go to a baseball game, which is infrequent these days, I go to StubHub. I pick out a affordable ticket for me. I print it out. I do my credit card. The ticket goes. I get my friends and I go. I can't do that anymore.
Nope.
Holy cow!
You're Rizzuto, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I use that a lot.
Yeah. And you use WW.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah. I wasn't watching.
Watching.
Yeah, he was also a big Cesar Romero fan. He loved everything with Cesar.
Yeah, well, there you go. But that's what they want now. The Minnesota Timberwolves do the same thing.
Holy cow! Can't go to a ball game. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sure others will as well. So hey, look, it's business. That's what it is. It's business, and it's a little more than a business. As on that show that was on, a professor from USC. And this is, again, 1999. He said, hey, look, the way things are going to go, rooting for a team is going to be rooting for a company like U.S. Steel. You got to remember the time frame that we're in.
Yeah.
Years ago. But, yeah, hey, that's what it's all about.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. And it's a game we all appreciate, and they drive us farther and farther from it.
Well, they've been doing that for a long time. And yeah, that's just how it goes. It's been like that for a very, very long time, and will continue to be that way for a long time.
Unbelievable. Evan, I can't believe it. We're out of time. And Evan does speaking engagements. Evan is an author. Evan's available to come out to your group. Where can our friends and fans reach you?
Just look me up. I got a website. It's called Evan J. Weiner Journalist Blog. But if you just look me up, speakers or whatever, do a search it. I am doing a talk on baseball right now. If you got 3 seconds,
I certainly do.
Okay, it's a little bit. It's about baseball and the culture. I don't talk anything about games. It's Abbott Costello. It's take me out to the ball game. It's Casey at the bat. It's the Field of Dreams and movies. Pride of the Yankees, Babe Ruth story. Baseball and song and the last big song. I guess we could say talking baseball with Terry Cashman, but the real last big baseball song was Mrs. Robinson, Where Have You Gone, Joe DiMaggio?
Yeah.
And that little story that Mickey Mantle was upset that it was DiMaggio, not Mickey Mantle. So baseball and the culture, because at one point the French philosopher Jacques Mouzon said, if you really want to know about the hearts and minds of Americans, you better learn baseball. And,
I remember.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not the case anymore.
I'll tell you, it's fun. It's always fun to talk, but I always shake my head thinking about what was and what we saw. Evan, take care. We'll be talking soon.
We'll
of course.
Speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care. Bye now.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
That was sports personality Evan Weiner. We're going to be coming back to wrap up. See us again in 2 weeks. And great show tonight. Glad you liked it. We'll be back.
It's not the pale moon that excites me.